He thought he had lifted his equipment far up enough.
As soon as he felt a tug, he looked back and he saw a big cloud of dust and the big noise of a zooming jet.
And unfortunately, that's where he hit the gas line.
Every event has the potential for a catastrophic outcome.
Hitting a pipeline or underground utility on your farm or ranch can impact your family for generations. Fact is, underneath much of America's farmland lies buried utilities. And these utilities may carry natural gas, oil, electricity, communications, or water. Any one of these utilities struck during a farming operation can cause dangerous consequences for you and your neighbors and the environment, impacting your farm for years. Underground utilities can be found just a few inches below the surface due to topsoil removal, erosion, and of course, weather. Some are buried deeper, but it's never safe to assume the location or depth of underground utilities. The D'Origo brothers own a large family farm in Central California, and they learned firsthand the impact of hitting a buried utility.
Our operator was ripping some ground that we had just acquired again. We knew exactly where the pipeline was and we had marked it ourselves. And when he came upon that area, he lifted the ripper. When he lifted it, it dragged slightly from the front end about 6 inches. And when he came across where the pipeline was, us not knowing the depth of the pipe, he hit the pipeline, creating a quarter-size hole, and that's where the whole event started.
Never assume that you know the location of a buried utility or attempt to mark it yourself. Regulations require that only utility company employees or its representatives are approved and qualified to mark a buried utility. A call to 811 will notify the utility operator that you intend to work in the area of their underground utility and provide them an opportunity to check the depth of the utility to determine if additional actions are needed, such as adding cover, lowering the utility, or other special requirements. Become familiar with your state one-call laws. For example, a utility company representative may be required to stand by to ensure work performed near a utility is done safely.
De repente sentí que la Reaper se levantó un poquito, se sintió el golpe. Enseguida salió el gas.
As soon as he felt a tug, he looked back and he heard the big noise of a zooming jet.
En cuanto me di cuenta que se reventó la línea, sí me puse muy nervioso.
Right after the incident, once our driver contacted his immediate supervisor, both the fire department and the utility company representatives showed up to secure the area to make sure that it was safe, and they proceeded to look for a way to turn off the gas so it wouldn't continue to leak out.
Well, obviously, the most extreme dangers, we have a loss of life. There's a huge gas leak of sorts that has to be repaired because our communities are served through those pipes, and it may endanger or loss of service to those areas, which is not a good thing for anybody.
When there's a fire, an explosion, when the natural gas ignites, the concussion actually is a wave that travels out beyond the explosion area that can actually knock people off their feet. So first responders can actually be knocked down by this. People in the area can be knocked down and become injured. It's not just natural gas that's under the ground, but we also have electrical lines under the ground. So if someone were to dig into an electrical line, they have potential for being electrocuted. So anyone that would then go up to that person to try to rescue them could also be electrocuted. And if fiber optic is ever struck, you can lose an entire 911 system for a very large area of the community. So it's vital to call 811 before you dig.
The next thing was, how much damage did they cause? How much work that we have to do the necessary repairs.
This incident had a major impact cost-wise, and it could have been worse if we would have had any injuries or other environmental factors involved. We changed our practices. We made sure everybody was aware where all the lines were at to make sure that an incident like this would never happen again. This pipeline was 6-7 inches deep, So from our operation, our ripping, our chiseling, including our disking, could potentially cause a line to rupture.
It's as simple as making one call or one online request, and it will come out and mark everything. We work as a community together to make sure that no one hits anything that's buried underground.
It's extremely important to call 811. It should be the #1 thing you do before you do any type of work, regardless of what it's going to be, to protect your employees, to protect your livelihood, which is the soil, and to protect your neighbors and community.
It's simple. Make the free call to 811 to contact the local one-call center to request that underground utilities on the land you're working get marked. It's important for farmers and ranchers to always call 811 when doing activities such as deep plowing, ripping, installing a fence, or drain tiling. The utility company or its representative will locate the utilities and work with you to help protect you, your land, and the underground utility. It's a free call. They'll mark where buried utilities are located at no charge and within 2 to 3 days. Now, here are the steps. Step 1, call 811 before any digging or excavation activity. Never rely on permanent underground utility markers to identify the location of buried utilities. These markers indicate the general location, not the exact location, the depth, or the number of utilities. Step 2, wait for the utility company to mark its utility. Using white paint or flags, identify the proposed location where you'll be digging, or coordinate a time to meet with the utility company or its representative to discuss your project. The utility company will mark underground utilities or notify you that none exist. Once you have waited the required amount of time, verify with the one call center or online system that all utilities have responded to the request. Some utility companies have heightened safety measures and may need to be on site when you dig. Step 3, dig with hand digging tools to expose the utility. Dig with care, using appropriate hand digging or vacuum excavation tools to expose the underground utility. For your safety, backhoes, augers, and other mechanical equipment should not be used when digging near utility lines. The utility company will instruct you on the proper methods while working around their utility. Now, always know your state's specific hand digging tolerance zone threshold. They vary from state to state. Visit call811.com or your state one call center's website for more information. Never remove flags, stakes, or paint marks until you finish digging. Step 4, notify the utility company regarding damages or leaks. Never operate mechanical equipment in an area where you suspect a gas leak. This could cause an ignition, putting you in great danger. Immediately notify the utility company if you dent, scrape, or hit any underground utility while digging. It will be inspected and repaired if needed to prevent future consequences. If you suspect a pipeline leak, immediately leave the area in an upwind direction and warn others to stay away. From a safe location, call 911 and the utility company. Let's clear some things up. Here are 5 myths about digging.
811 is only for digging. Farmers and ranchers are exempt from calling 811 for normal farming practices in some states.
811 applies to all dirt moving activities, even if you believe you are exempt under state one call laws. And it's always the safe thing to do.
I remember when the utilities were put in, and I've called 811 before. I don't need to do it again.
The depth of pipelines and other utilities can change over time due to erosion and other activities. Please don't make a risky assumption. You don't want to be the neighbor who knocks out the internet, cable, or other vital services.
I'm not digging very deep. I don't want to bother anyone for a small project.
You're not bothering the utility company by calling 811. It's better to be safe than sorry.
Calling 811 will cost me time and money. Plus, the weather the way it is, I need to get started.
Calling 811 is free. The cost is paid by utility companies to protect you, and calling 811 is fast. After you call, professional locators will be sent to the site within 2 to 3 business days. Also, calling in advance while you're planning your project will help save you time.
If I hit a pipeline and nothing happens, there's nothing to worry about.
Even if it appears the utility isn't damaged, always call and notify the utility company. Even a small dent, scrape, gouge, or scratch in a pipeline or other apparently minor damages could cause a major problem in the future. These are just a few of the many reasons that we've heard for not calling 811. The fact is, if you hit a buried utility, the consequences can be severe. Help keep your family, farm, and neighbors safe from unexpected consequences. Just click or make the free call to 811 to mark your underground utilities every time you dig. It's the safe thing to do. It's the right thing to do.